ERP applications. I worked on AX2012 in AX2012 R2 and R3, and then I moved to D365 Finance and Operations. I worked on 7.4 from initial stage onwards. I worked on from last 4 years. I'm working on this Microsoft D365 Finance and Operations. Okay, that is the introduction of mine, and let's go into the demo session. So D365 Finance and Operations, whenever we recognize it, we call it as ERP applications. ERP applications. What is meant by an ERP? Can somebody answer? ERP means Enterprise Resource Planning. It's a suite of integrated modules to perform the business processes. For example, if you take a manufacturing company, for manufacturing company, what we need? We need a lot of resources. For example, if you take manufacturing, we need a lot of resources. What type of resources we need? We need human resources. We need raw material to manufacture a product. We need design for designing different types of employees. We need, once we manufacture the product, we need to market that product. Marketing people we need, sales people we need. Once the sales is done, we need to maintain the all sales, customer information and everything into the system. So everything can be integrated and maintained at the single application. So that is the ERP suite, Enterprise Resource Planning. Yeah, even enterprises can be like three types. There can be like large scale industries, okay, and we have ERP three types. One we call it as large scale or bigger, and mid-sized, and small. Okay, can somebody give some examples of ERP systems? We have D365, Finance and Operations,
SAP,
AX2012, SAP. What else we have? Oracle app.
Oracle,
Salesforce.
Salesforce, okay.
Ah.
Salesforce. And previously we have Navision and all. This is for the small scale industries. And what else? PeopleSoft is also, but it's not a fully completed ERP, but PeopleSoft is also comes under ERP. Okay. For large scale, we have our D365 Finance and Operations, SAP, and Oracle apps. Oracle apps also, it's not completely using by large scale industries. Mid-sized and small. For small one, they are using Navision and these things. Okay, these are the different kind of ERP suites applications we have available in the market. But the most of the market, in initial stages, SAP has taken the complete around 50 to 60% of market, and then now D365 Finance and Operations, once it is moved to cloud and all, it is competing with the SAP. Okay. So coming to the history of this Dynamics, we have AX 2009. Okay, previously this is a product of Axapta. We call it as Axapta, developed by DAMS company. Later Microsoft has acquired this company and they have rebuilt this application and they named it as AX 2009. And then AX 2012. AX 2012, they have released 3 releases, R1, R2 and R3, and then D360. Initially they call it as AX 7.0, and then they renamed it as D365 Finance and Operations. Okay. Now later 8.0 they have released till 8.3, 8.1, 2 and 3. 8.3, and then we got 10. There is no 9. Now the latest version is 10.0.16. Okay. For every 2 months, Microsoft is releasing the upgrades, and it will automatically upgrade into the systems. So for customers, they can set up auto upgrade, or even if they want, they can upgrade themselves. Okay. Now till
So
AX20, sorry.
the 16 will be the patch number within this version.
The patch numbers will be different. That is a long number, version number. So that will be inside the application. This is the main version of the application. And coming to this application, still AX2012 R3. This is Windows application. Windows application in the sense it is a desktop application. Okay, we need to install it separately on the servers, and people has to access by using the client. So for each and every client whoever want to use the user, we need to install the client version on their desktop. Okay, coming to the D365, Microsoft has completely revamped their architecture, and it is hosted on the cloud. We call it as web application. It is web application, so we can simply access by using the URL. Okay, here the architecture is completely changed. I will go to the architecture in next few minutes. This is the web application. So Windows application, so we need to access only from the desktop, and there also if you want to access the client as well, so URL like UI as well, if you want to access it, you need to install the client version of the application. So now D365 Pen operations, it's moved to the cloud, and it's a web application completely. It will run on a server called IIS, Internet Information Services. By default, it will be installed on the Windows servers. Okay, it will be hosted on the Windows servers, and we can access it directly. Here, Microsoft has moved this to cloud. So we have two types of environments. For example, if you want to develop the application, we need the complete environment, right? So for that environment, Microsoft has given provision two types of application. Previously, that is completely desktop application. So now Microsoft is giving cloud-based environment. Even production and everything will be in cloud. Okay, this is cloud-based environment. Here production, UAT environment, test environment, and we are going to create it on the cloud. Here also Microsoft is providing two types of subscriptions. One is Microsoft managed, and one more is client managed or customer managed. We can. Okay. In Microsoft managed, Microsoft will provide the VMs. We need to access by using the IP address or some URL they will give. By using that, we can connect to the remote desktop and we can work on that. Once we create a cloud environment, if it is for development purpose, we'll have the different topologies. By using that topology, we will create the environments. If it is a development environment, Visual Studio and all by default, it will be installed. And we can simply access by using the IP address or URL, and we can work on that virtual machine. And here we will not have no admin rights. Microsoft will not give any admin rights. So that means you cannot install anything, something, just you can develop and you can test it. That's it. Here client managed will have the admin rights. Okay, this will be also the cloud thing. So subscription will be maintained by the customer. Here it will be maintained by the Microsoft. Okay.
How they do the source code maintenance?
Yeah,
Like
that I will
how
come. That I will come. We will come to the questions at the end. Okay, that I will come. Source code and I will come. Okay.
Okay.
Till AX2012, we used to use the Morpex. Morpex is the IDE to develop, write code and all. Okay, Morpex. Coming to the D365 finance and operations from AX 7.0 onwards, we are using Visual Studio. Okay, now the D365 finance and operation application is completely tight integrated with the Visual Studio. So whatever the development we are going to use it, by using the Visual Studio. Here we have used the language called X++. We call it as XPP. Here also same thing. We are going to use the X++ only. Okay, there is no difference in the language. Visual Studio, we are going to use it for the development purpose. And for maintaining the environments and deployments and everything, Microsoft has introduced a concept called, because it is a cloud application, so environments and everything will be in cloud. If you want to maintain the environment, like if you want to start the environment, if you want to restart the environment, or else if you want to deploy any code package, whatever we have developed in the development environment, if you want to deploy it to the test environment, for those things, Microsoft introduced a concept called tool LCS, Lifecycle Services. This is a web URL, okay, based on our login, whatever the subscription access you have, based on that we can access the environment. We call it as LCS, Lifecycle Services. I will show you how it will look like. Okay, that is the LCS, and from that we can use. Here one more thing I mentioned, this is the client management, and there is one more called on-premises. Okay. This one what Microsoft will give is from LCS, they will provide the virtual machine file. There we will have the bunch of files. We need to download it, and the first file will be exe. Once you click on that, that will extract the VM file into single file. Once it is extracted, we can access by using the Hyper-V, or we can configure like dual booting. We can connect on-premises environment. We call it as on-premises. We need to download it from the LCS. For accessing this, we need an on Microsoft account. Okay, we cannot directly like connecting to the URL. For connecting to the D365 URL, I'm talking, not to the VM. VM, you will have the admin rights, and you will have the default password. By using that, you can connect to that. Once you log into the environment, you should have the on Microsoft account for connecting to the URL. That I will show what URL and all. Okay, this is the LCS. Let me show you how the LCS look like. See, I have a on Microsoft account. Once you created that, you can simply type lcs.dynamics.com. This is the URL. Once you log in, you will not have anything here in project section. By clicking on plus symbol, you can create the new project. Here your project name and what is the product name. You will have the finance and operations, knowledge and industry. Okay, what type of industry we are going to this project, and methodology. Based on this methodology, it will depend. Based on the industry, it will come. Based on this methodology, it will act like how the project is going on. That status will be maintained. Once you click on this implementation project, you can see all the environments, whatever is created, because here I don't have any environments, but it will show like this: production environment, sandbox environment, like whatever the development environments you have. Based on our subscription, it will show all the environments here. Okay, production environment, I will not have any access to like deployment or anything. Once the code is developed in the development environment, what we will do is we have a concept called DevOps. Okay, here in DevOps we will have the different things, like we can create work items, defects and everything. Like for QA, you can create the test suits, work items, test suits and everything we can create. Along with that, we will have the Visual Sources. Somebody asked the question here in by using DevOps, what we will do is we will configure this DevOps URL into our Visual Studio. How to configure and all, I will show it in the actual sections. Okay, Visual Source Safe. What we will do is we'll connect to the Visual Source Safe and we will do the check-ins and checkouts. Okay, and we will generate the we will check in the code. In DevOps itself, we have a concept called pipelines. Okay, by using this pipelines, what we will do is get code from the Visual Source Safe and generate the package. Okay, by using this pipeline, we will get the code from the Visual Source Safe and it generate the package. There is a concept called build server. By using build agent, it will generate the package by using the build server. Like this in LCS we have seen, right? For production we have one sandbox one. Like that we can create for one build also. That build server will be integrated with this DevOps. We have the project settings. Under that project settings, you can integrate with the DevOps URL, DevOps, and even for Azure URL also. For each project, you can integrate by giving the URL, and this is the project URL, Azure DevOps. You can set up the Azure DevOps. It will be tightly integrated. Once it is integrated, you can create a pipeline, and we can get the that pipeline. What it will do is it will get the code from the Visual Source Safe, and it will generate the package by using the build server, and we can deploy it to the deploy means upload the package into the LCS asset library. Okay, it will apply into the LCS asset library, that pipeline itself, because of this integration. If we go to project, it will show the different pages. I haven't configured the all pages. These are the pages I have configured. By using this, it will automatically, based on your changes and all, you can track the project as well here. But most of the time people will not use this one. Just for environment and deployment purposes we will use it. See, here we have asset library. In asset library we will have the different tabs. For packages uploading, we will have one deployable packages. This is data packages. Let me, there is one more called deployable packages. I think it's see, solution packages, software deployable package. Here the whatever the package is uploaded, it will come here. By once it is come here, we can go to the particular environment and we will deploy that package to the environment. Okay, that is the LCS. And once this environment and are done, so here we will have the Visual Studio mentioned, right? For development, it is tightly integrated with the D365 finance and operations application. We will have a separate menu item for the Dynamics 365. We will have the different menu things. From here you can create the models and you can build the models, you can synchronize with the database and everything. Here database is we are going to use it same SQL server only, but here we will have the multiple databases like AX definition and AXDB. Multiple two databases are there. One is for the like whatever the code we are writing, whatever the objects we are creating, that definitions is storing, and one is for the actual data. Here in SQL for D365 finance and operations, we will have only one database, that is AXDB, and there are two other databases, but those are not related to our complete finance and operations, and that is for the SSRS reporting and analysis services. Those are the separate databases. Those are read-only databases, SSRS reporting and all. This is the
But this
AXDB. The actual code and all, whatever we are maintaining, that will be stored in the XML format in the server itself. Whatever the object you create, it is a table or class, everything will be stored in the XML format in the server. Okay, that XML will be compiled and store it in the bin folder with the runtimes. Okay, here till AX2012, the separate X++ compiler is there. By using that compiler, this code will be compiled and converted into the binaries. Coming to the D365 finance and operations, it will convert into the IL, intermediary language. Whoever is not the .NET and framework, they will understand this intermediary language. So, for example, if you take Visual Studio, you can not for the D365 finance and operations. I'm talking about the general thing. We can use the different languages like VB, C Sharp, C, everything. We have different languages, Visual C and all. Okay, by once you use the different languages, what it will do is the .NET it will compile into the intermediate language. Like that, our X++ also will be compiled into the intermediary language. Okay. And one.
Raman, I have a question.
Yep.
So if I have an external SQL server, so is it possible to use the same license here?
Yes, you can use it, but here it is cloud environment, right? You can access it by using the SQL Server Management Studio. You can give your server name and those details. You can connect it.
Okay.
If you want to use it, we have an option to yes, but it's better not to use, because Microsoft is giving the for development environments, they will give the standard alone SQL Server installed on the VMs. If you go to the U8 environment and production environment, they will have the Azure database.
No. Talk about the on-premise. So on-premise we were using the SQL Server interface.
Yeah, on-premises it's already installed, right?
Yeah, it's already installed. So even SSRS.
So, SSRS and everything, it's already installed. Here actually in X2012 we have an option to configure the SSRS report separately. Okay, but if you come into the D365 finance and operations, there is no separate configuration. It is tightly integrated internally. You don't have an option, but there is a mechanism like in web.config you can change it, but that is a risky process. So you need to configure a lot of things. There is an option. Yeah, there is an option, but
what about ArcleDB? We can connect.
Sorry, what about
ArcleDB?
ArcleDB, I think we don't have option. I never tried, but we don't have an option for the ArcleDB because it is a ERP suite, right? It has to be with the all compatibility options.
Okay.
This has one product. ERP means it's everything, not only application. It has the database, SSRS reporting, Power BI, and everything. Okay, it is a suite, so it has its compatibilities.
Power BI, is a separate DB here or?
Yeah, we have analysis services that I will come you. Questions I will take it once I complete this. We have only one thing. Architecture I will explain. Once that is done, questions I will take.
Now the problem is when we reach the end of the session, we might forget the question itself.
Note down, because we are going on the questions, so we are missing the actual things. Last demo also it went well. I will take another 10 minutes. After that, we will go to the complete questions only.
Yeah, okay, Ram. Okay, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Coming to this, this is the D365 Finance and Operations architecture. You people are able to see, right? Okay. This is the D365 Finance and Operations architecture. As I mentioned, on Microsoft account, it is tightly integrated with the Active Directory. Once we created the environment, this account, we have Microsoft Azure Active Directory concept. By using that, we will create the account. For maintaining accounts and all these things, we have the Microsoft Office 365 Admin Center. This Active Directory is tightly integrated with our finance and operations apps. Okay. Lifecycle Services I have shown, right? It is tightly integrated with the Lifecycle Services as well. And we have Visual Studio Team Services. That is the DevOps I have mentioned. Under that, we will have the Team Services. The code is completely checking into the Visual Studio Team Services, and we have pipelines and everything into this DevOps process. This is tightly integrated with the LCS, and LCS is integrated with our finance and operations applications. Okay, this is the high-level cloud architecture. Coming to the actual application finance and operations.
So from D365 Admin Center, we can download the Lifecycle Services and then configure things.
Lifecycle Services, you don't need to download anything. You can access by using simple lcs.dynamics.com. You don't need to download anything. That's a URL. Web portal.
Okay. How the patch will manage here?
We can Microsoft will directly upgrade. I have shown the environments, right? You can go to that particular environment, and there you will get the options like Microsoft will give the like KB articles in that package. What are the you're talking about upgrade only, right? Or
yeah.
whatever the code we have done.
Even the customization I want to push. And
yeah, that's what I have shown, right? In LCS it will be applied, and once it is come to the asset library, we can go to the respective environment. Once you click on that, here it is showing production and like that, right? This is the trial URL. Once you upload it here, once you go to this particular, you can click on that particular environment, and from there you can apply it. There is an apply updates option is there. Once you click on that apply updates, you will whatever the packages available in asset library, it will show up. You can select that package and click on apply. It will apply that package.
Hey Ram, part of the training, right? How are we going? Are you?
Let me complete this architecture here. I will come to questions. Please give me another 5 minutes. Almost done. Okay, this is the cloud architecture, and if you come to the actual finance and operations application, you will have the application stack like application suite and application foundation and application platform. We call it as models. Under these models, the respective objects will be available. Okay, we can create our own custom models by referring to these existing models like application suite, foundation, and platform. We have a lot of models for expense management. We have different models, so we can refer by giving the reference. We can refer to that particular models, and we can customize the standard objects, and we can create our own new model, and we can create our own new objects as well based on our requirement. Okay, this is the server architecture. This is the application stack. We have different models. This is the application stack. We have different models resides here. Application suite, application foundation, and application platform, and fleet management system. On top of this, we can create our new model, and we can create the new objects. If you want to customize the standard objects, and we can refer the particular suite, particular model which that object belongs to, and we can customize it. Customizations, we have different things like overlaying and extension concepts that we will discuss more in the actual process. And coming to the finance and operations server architecture, we have the UI interaction layer, Windows Communication Foundation, and Forms engine we have. On top of that, this will be rendered based on the Windows Communication Foundation. Metadata, this is what I mentioned. Everything will be stored in the XML format, whatever object you created. And then we have security server and cache mechanism and workflow engine and batch services. You have different services we will see. And then this is the data access layer. Our AXDB resides here, database, and read-only secondary databases. That's what I mentioned, SSRS reporting and analysis services. Okay, those are the read-only databases. It will be in the SQL server. This is the architecture of the finance and operations. Okay, now let's go into the questions. It's your time now. Okay.
During the training, are you going to provide the training on the practice on the on-premise or cloud?
On-premises.
So all these
I will give you the steps. I will give you the steps how to create on Microsoft account and how to download the VM from the LCS, how to set up the VM. From there you can practice it.
Okay,
That requires a 16 GB RAM.
like real-time LCS will cover, right? How it works in real time, the LCS deployment,
yes.
DevOps.
Yeah, deployment and that I will cover. How to generate the package and how to upload that package into asset library. I will not show into the complete pipelines, but how the deployment process will go, that I will show.
Okay.
What is this, Ram? What is the system configuration we require?
System configuration, it's better to have i5 and more, and minimum 16 GB RAM.
Oh, minimum 16 GB. Okay, fine. Okay. And coming to coding, will you be teaching the basics of X++, and from there you'll be going, or what is the
Yes. I will pitch the basics. Basics, whatever required to understand the complete coding related to this finance and operations. And from there, I will explain complete like primitive data types, composite data types.
Okay. Okay.
What are the loops we have?
Okay.
While loop, for loop, and all.
Okay. So should we have .NET framework knowledge, C# knowledge is required, or it's okay with start with X++ directly?
You can start with X++ directly, but if you have the minimum like basic programming language like C or C++, that is enough. And I am going to cover this OOPS concepts also here. Not completely OOPS concept, that is a vast subject again. Whatever is required for this finance and operations, I will cover. Like access modifiers and how to inherit the class.
Okay.
Those things I will cover.
Okay. So, is there any project on migration?
Sorry?
Is there any hands-on on migration project? Something like this?
Migration, actually, you need a complete subscription. If you want to do the code migration, then only you can do it by using the LCS. That I will cover theoretically, but practically we don't have any like complete subscription. That cost involves, actually more cost involves. We need to upload the complete X2012 model into the LCS. That model will convert the code into our D365, and we need to integrate with the VSTS. That will by default it will check in into the code. Converted code will be checking into the our VSTS, whatever you have given, by creating one branch there. From there you need to go through each and every object, and you need to verify your functionality is working or not.
So
and coming to the yeah, go ahead.
Instead of yes, can I use the TFS that I have in the on-premise?
Yeah, TFS, it will not be installed on the on-premises. It will be here. Once you created the on Microsoft account, you can directly connect by using that account to the DevOps URL as well. You'll get the trial version, so you can access minimal things like VSTS, and by work items you can create. Those things will be available. Microsoft is giving a lot of trial versions. Okay, DevOps URL also you will get. By creating this on Microsoft account, you can connect, and by using Visual Studio, you can connect to the DevOps URL, and you can create your own branches, and you can check in the code there. That I will show how to connect to the Visual Source app by using a Visual Studio, and what are the folders which will be we need to create, and we need to map it to our models and all. That I will show. That will cover in course.
Yeah, that is a standard model, but we have already the TFS we are using, okay, which is configured on on-premise. So is it possible to use the same thing for a code to secure the code and the build process?
No, you
So is
can
it?
use it. You will have the URL, right? By using that URL, you can give that server name in the D3 or Visual Studio. You can connect to that. You can configure our local folders. But structure, it's a predefined structure is there. You need to create the branch by using that predefined structure.
This is for cloud sake, whatever the architecture that you showed to us. So it is a
Cloud actually, most of the
cloud, right?
things on-premises also it will be same. Everything is because even for if you want to access the on-premises also, you should be connected to the internet, because I told to you, right, if you have the on Microsoft account, it is tightly integrated with the Azure Active Directory. Even if it is on premises, everything will work by using the internet only.
Instead of Azure Active Directory, so we would like to use our on-premise Active Directory. So
Yeah, you can use it if you have, for example, if your organization have already Azure Active Directory and you have the user, and if you are able to access it, you can access by using that.
we're not talking about Azure, we're talking about on-premise Active Directory. So still this is
Normal
possible.
Active Directory, okay, normal Active Directory you're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not possible here. This is cloud application, so we need to use our Azure Active Directory only.
Then we have to so we have to again do the migration from all the normal Active Directory user to Azure. Then if this is, for example, if the organization they don't want to do Azure AD, then how this implementation?
That I think if you have any options like this, I think only admin center, Microsoft admin center can help you on that. I never used the like standard alone Active Directory, and I have read most of the things they are mentioning. It is supporting only Azure Active Directory.
Yeah.
I think you need to migrate your Active Directory into the Azure side.
No, we can migrate these things, but there is a cost involved. So organization they don't.
Definitely, if you want to go for the D365 finance and operations, it cost involves, because your production you cannot maintain at the on-premises level. Production definitely it will be at the cloud level only.
Okay.
Yeah, coming to the course content, I'm going to cover all these things.
I forgot something.
Yep.
So this admin center from where we download Office 365 installation from there, right?
No. There will not be any installation files. That is a separate concept. If you want to standard alone installation or something, Microsoft will provide packages and all. But here we will download the VM, actual VM, virtual machine itself. We will download. Okay, that virtual machine will be by default it will be installed with the D365 Finance and Operations, SQL Server, and Visual Studio.
That VM
that is pre-configured one, so you can directly use it.
Okay.
It is a virtual
Because
machine.
we are using Visual Studio 2019. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as you said, if I download the VM, so it will not be the same. So we want to reuse the assets that we have. Means 2009.
What assets you have?
This Visual Studio 2019. So I want the plugin D65.
You can install it. You can install the Visual Studio 2019 and you can use it.
So this installation goes in VM.
Yes, you can do that. Currently, Microsoft itself is upgrading every time. Now they have given Visual Studio 2017 compatibility. But once you install the 2019 Visual Studio, you need to install the dev tools for this finance and operations separately. Once you install it, you'll see that D365 menu item. And from there, you can create the models. You can build the models.
It's a normal one, regular one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is the course content I'm going to cover in the course. Architecture and everything will be covered here. And this X2012 and 2019, these things I will cover whenever I'm going to the actual topics. I will tell you how it will behave in previous versions and now. And artistment by application explorer, model management, packages, LCS, code migration, setups and server architecture. This will how to set up our VM and all. I will explain. Primitive data types, base enums, extended data types, data model, what is a table, views, queries, data entities and all. Here it will come to the actual code, hoops concepts and all. What is meant by runnable class? What is the new keyword? How to create an object by using this new keyword? Exception handling, macros. Here it will come the complete user interface like how to create a form, menu items, tiles and all. This is the reporting side and workflows. And here it will come the security. Yeah, go ahead.
So here we can integrate the third-party APIs, right? Here.
Yes, you have an option.
Okay, which option is this one?
We have services, and you can directly reference the DLLs as well.
Not DL. I'm talking about the APIs. Any sort of API.
It's a kind of service, right? You're talking.
Yeah. Even any WCF service or a web service.
Yeah, that
API.
you can reference. We can reference, and we can call those methods directly.
Do we have any middleware setup here where we can log all
Middleware setup? It will actually support logic apps, power apps, and all. Logic apps it will support. We can connect to the logic app directly. There it is Azure, right? You can create logic apps in your Azure subscription. Logic apps and that logic apps can be integrated with the D365 finance and operations. That can directly call our data management jobs. Import and export that can directly call and get the data and put. If you have any file generations and all, it will put in the Azure cloud folders.
Ram, I have a question. Is your training a project-based training, or only the concept will be going on teaching in each chapter? Will you take a project and then keep on showing the things, or how the training will be done, Ram?
Yeah, I will take examples and I will keep on creating those and show it how the output look like. And once these basic concepts are done, I will give the requirements like how the actual requirements will look like, how to customize and all. I will show it, and from there I will give the hands-on things so that you can practice it.
Okay. And any this one you're going to give material will be there. Any material you're going to give?
Material, I think we don't have any material kind of thing. I will give you the URLs, online URLs.
Acha, okay, fine.
And some book references. You can refer to that.
Okay.
So just coming to this LCS and the asset library and all those things, will you be covering both the on-prem and the cloud as well on how this, in both the scenarios, how these things change, or how this works and things like that?
Yes, yes. There is no difference to on-premises and cloud in place of deployment. Actually, on-premises will have only development environments. Remaining test also we can have on-premises environment. Remaining all UAT environment and production environment, it will be in cloud only. So anyway, in both the cases, we are connecting to the DevOps. There will be pipelines. So whichever the VSTS you are configuring there in pipeline, the code will be get from that particular thing, and it will
Deploy into the other one.
Once the package is generated, it will upload into the LCS. Wherever is required, you can go to that particular environment, you can select this package and deploy it.
Correct. And how we as a getting trained on this, will you be able to do some practice on this?
Yes, yes. I will show how it will work. But pipelines, it requires a PowerShell and PowerShell, and it requires a lot of infrastructure like DevOps. We need the DevOps licensing and all. Pipelines I may not cover. I will see my level best wherever possible. Is there any possibility? But licensing required for that, and we need the build server and all. But I will show how to generate the package, and that package can be manually, we can upload into the asset library, and we can apply it to the respective environment. That part I will show.
Okay. Diving into the DevOps in detail may not be possible with this because it requires a license and things
it's
like
a trial version. We need the complete license.
But in real world, when we are using these environments, we will get the license, or even that is also sort of a limited version. We need to buy it separately.
No,
or do we require it to have it permanent proper one?
You'll have the separate licensing for DevOps and for this subscription, this one, LCS. But you'll have the package. Microsoft will analyze our requirements, and based on that, they will suggest the different packages. By combiningly, they will give all licenses, because it is a complete development ERP application. We are customizing it, right? So we need all the tools, minimum things. So definitely they will give DevOps and this one subscription based, this one environments, LCS and all. Even in LCS also, based on it is tightly integrated with the Azure portal. Whatever the environments you are going to create it, that will show it here, and you can simply configure by using our methodology that I have shown, right? It is showing finance and operations and Navision like that. Based on our methodology, it will show we can create our environments here. While creating environment also, it will ask for the different infrastructure kind of thing. It will provide like if you need more RAM or something, you can select those things.
Okay. But with the demo package, what we get, we will be able to access the LCS website and then see our demo environments, and then deploy packages and things like that to this environment.
No. LCS it will not show. In trial version, you can create one cloud environment, but here we are using the on-premises, right?
But when you create the when you are addressing us
for practice purpose, you can take 30 days trial version for Azure portal, right? You can take that one. You can create one environment. That option is there. You can create one environment and you can play with that.
With that environment, I can also create one more second environment and then play with the deploying packages to different.
Yes.
That's possible, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Ram.
Back to VMs. So there is any limitation we can we can use only 5 or 10 like this, or there is no limitation, we can download and use?
That is based on your subscription. That involves cost, right? You can have any number of VMs, but everything is cost involved.
This is a technical perspective. How the business user license works? Like, so this will be per module per user license, or it will be a global license? How?
Currently it's a global license. Actually, they are making it as user level, but it's a global license, and based on the number of environments and all, they will charge it.
No,
it's
anyway,
Azure based licensing. If you go to the Azure website, you can see the Microsoft licensing. Okay, based on our requirement, it will charge.
Okay, you know,
what I know you are asking, like previously we used to have the complete bulk licensing for years, and you can use any number of things like that, right? But here it is completely each environment level they will charge separately.
Anyway, the user in production will be one guy only, so we don't even interact with him. Okay, so
Yeah,
for them, how the licensing?
Production we will not have any access. Even for deployment also, we need to create a request from LCS to Microsoft. They will apply the package. We need to provide the package name and all. Once we tested, we'll mark that as release candidate, and we'll create a request in the LCS. Based on that, we need to provide the downtime and all. They will deploy that package into production.
This is when Microsoft is operating on behalf of you, right?
No, even for the client subscription as well, production will be maintained by Microsoft only.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? I have another class.
Sir, will you tell real-time projects, sir?
Yeah, that's what. In real time only, I will give the scenarios. For explaining these basic things and all for practice, I will use the normal scenarios, like by creating a simple table, simple form and all. Once you learn those things, I will come up with the real-time scenarios. I will give it to you and you can practice it. If you have any doubts, you can come back and I can explain you how to do the customizations, how to create a new class for that particular specific requirement.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Here we are not talking about a particular module. It's a general technical training altogether, right?
Yes, yes. Here in technical side, we will not have any module dependency. It will cover all the modules, so you can take any form or any class, anything. It's throughout the application. Functional side, you will come into the modules and all. You'll have separate for finance and different things, human resources and all. But here it will come with all the modules.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If there are no other questions, I think we are going to start our class from the Thursday, 16th. Whoever is interested, you people can join. Okay. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you, Ram. Thank you very much.